It's like they're always stuck in second gear, and it hasn't been their day, their week, their month, or even their year. Hello to everyone tuning in, and thanks for picking RealScreenReviews.com. I am movie critic Nick Iacobucci, and my next review is for the TV show Friends. This television serial drama and sitcom ran from 1994 until 2004, and it stars Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Lisa Kudrow, Matt LeBlanc, Matthew Perry, and David Schwimmer. This now classic show, Friends, was brought to us from producers Kevin Bright, David Crane, and Marta Kaufman, and together they have given us television's Dream On, Veronica's Closet, and the new episodes on Showtime. This show, Friends, ran from the mid-90s till a few years after the turn of the millennium, and it tells the tale of 6 people in the 20-something years. It shows Rachel, Monica, Phoebe, Joey, Chandler, and Ross attempting their best to make it in the Big Apple and relying on each other every step of the way. Over the series' 10-year run, you get many ups and many downs along the way, and everything from relationships to families to babies to growing up is covered as the show progresses. By the time this landmark series came to its end, anyone that was lucky enough to be along for the ride truly felt like there was a spot on the Central Perk couch just for them. Well, people, there is only one place to begin, and that is to say that the TV show Friends is so much more than just a sitcom. In fact, anyone that refers to Friends as a sitcom has most likely never watched the show. I know that Seinfeld is regarded as the best sitcom of all time, but I will debate that topic until my dying day, saying that it doesn't even hold a candle to the comedy and drama brought by these 6 friends. The absolute first, best, and main reason that supports this thought process is the fact that you care about each and every one of these 6 main players. Ross and Rachel, Monica and Chandler, and Phoebe and Joey are not just characters on a show, they are family members to most people. When bad things are happening to this sextuple, the viewer feels the same loss, the same heartache, and the same despair. Now, I must say that I feel a special connection to this show because growing up in the 1990s, I was the same age as the characters on Friends, and every week my 5 or 6 buddies that I hung out with every day would get together and watch the escapades of the Central Perk 6. We hung out with each other almost every day, and the bond that I shared with those friends at that time in my life will be treasured by me forever. The show is basically about a time in one's life when your friends are your family. It's about a time when anything that happens to you goes through your buddies before it goes through anyone else. And it is also about a time when you are finding a career and finding someone to start your own family. Friends explores the era before you settle down and raise children, and exploits the time of your life when you're barely holding on to the age of irresponsibility before having to make the transition into maturity. Now, this takes me to the stellar cast, and just like any good ensemble, the show does not work without each and every individual part of the 6. Jennifer Aniston's Rachel starts the show as a weak and inexperienced girl and grows to be an independent and responsible mother and career woman. Courtney Cox's Monica is the epitome of OCD and competitive behavior, and she is without question the motherly center of the group. Lisa Kudrow's Phoebe is the free-loving hippie of the group, but is strong in a way that is described by both her growing up on the street and how she had to deal with the loss of her parents. Matt LeBlanc delivers us Joey, and he is the goofy, irresponsible actor of the bunch, but he has a heart of gold and would do anything for his friends. Matthew Perry gives us Chandler and is the wisecracking, funny, comedic relief of the group, and his spot-on one-liners make him a staple in the series. Finally, there's David Schwimmer as Ross, who brings a dorky warmth and fun, embarrassing humor to the program, and this man's creation of Ross is one of the most underrated physical comedians in the history of television. Expanding on the cast of Friends, the creators of the show always got credible talent to fill the secondary or guest spots on the show. James Michael Tyler shined as Gunther and will be forever remembered because of it. Tom Selleck's run as Richard was great, and returning regulars Elliot Gould and Christina Pickles were awesome as Mr. and Mrs. Geller. When they needed to basically add a cast member because of the addition of Phoebe's husband, well, Paul Rudd stepped in and perfectly fit what they were looking for. Ron Liebman and Marlo Thomas were both great as Rachel's parents, and Giovanna Ribisi was absolutely hilarious as Phoebe's brother, Frank Jr. They also filled each episode with as much talent as possible, including wonderful guest spots by George Clooney, Julia Roberts, Brad Pitt, Bruce Willis, Sean Penn, Susan Sarandon, Danny DeVito, and many other A-list actors. This takes me to the brilliant writing of the show, and how amazing is it that they never seem to leave out any of the 6 characters in any of the over 200 plus episodes. These talented writers packed every individual show with hilarious and laugh-out-loud moments, and at the same time filled those same plot lines with meaningful and emotional storytelling. These people were gifted enough to write plot points that carried on through only one show, then they wrote plot points that carried on through entire seasons, and then they wrote plot points that carried on through the entire series run. They continually wrote about Ross and Rachel, and not only did that not get old, but it actually stayed fresh throughout the run of the series. Then the joining of Monica and Chandler was nothing short of brilliant, and even though that was drawn out over the course of maybe 2 or 3 seasons, it consistently satisfied and pleased viewers and fans. Joey and Phoebe were always Joey and Phoebe, but these two were always had like a delicate balance with their characters. You know, they're funny, they're dopey, and they're goofy, but they were always founded in reality and never achieved the status of being pathetic, sad, or pitiful. Let's see, some of my favorite episodes and moments include, well, let me start with some episode names. How about the one with Joey's new brain is my absolute favorite episode. The one where Ross got high, the one where no one's ready, the one with the prom video, and the one where everyone finds out is also a great episode, and also the one with the dirty girl. All those stand out to me as landmark episodes, and each is a testament to the power of laughter. Some other moments that I believe reflect the pinnacle of comedy on television include Ross trying to play the bagpipes, as well as Ross's teeth whitening and his leather pants. How about when Rachel attempted to make dessert for Thanksgiving, or when Monica and Chandler were keeping their relationship a secret? Also, how could you forget pivot, 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 pivot? I mean, it's just classic hilarity. At 238 episodes, this is a show where you could put on any episode from any season and you would laugh hysterically and be moved in all 23 minutes. This great drama of television history will live on for many decades to come, and years from now, people's children and grandchildren will someday enjoy the adventures of the Bings, the Gellers, and the rest. Looking back on the show of Friends, I would have to say that it even ended correctly, because after the finale, 5 of the 6 were moving on into their 30s, and they were moving on to start families of their own. The chapter of their lives that revolves around maturing and growing up has come to a close, and the time to care for babies, to care for youngsters, and to bring in responsibility has ushered in. They leave the hectic life of the city behind and move on to begin the next segment in that never easy thing called life. This is without question my all-time favorite dramedy in the history of television, and what a privilege it is to be able to watch them whenever I want. Nick's Real Screen Review is a perfect 4 stars out of 4, and that's for the wonderful television drama and comedy known as Friends. Well, I'm afraid that's all the time that I have today, and thank you so much for stopping by. If you have enjoyed this review, please click like below and give me a thumbs up, or subscribe to Real Screen Reviews if you haven't yet already. I'm sure that I'll be returning soon enough with more movie and trailer reviews, and until next time, people, this is Nick Iacobucci saying I'm not always right, but only when it comes to the movies, and thank you for your attention.